This Premier League transfer window has to be one of the messiest, most ugliest and most dramatic transfer windows I've ever known. I've never known anything like it. I don't mind it as if you were a neutral, but my club too, Manchester City, have been suffering, as have everybody else. There's very few clubs that are going to come away from this transfer window thinking, yes, we're ready. Right now even, with 5 days to go. There's very little time for all of these problems at almost every single Premier League club to be fixed. And there's only a few handful of clubs that I think they could say, yes, we're ready, let's go. We're ready right now and I can't wait for more football. But starting with the big one, I mean, Isak, it's a disgrace. And I'm sure Liverpool fans will be like, oh, it's not a disgrace, he wants to play for us, precious Liverpool. No, it's an absolute disgrace. The way he's handling it is nothing short of a shambles. It's an embarrassment to himself and to the sport, in all honesty, because, I mean, sort of gentleman's agreement. That's what it's supposed to be. Gentleman's agreement. Is it in writing? Is that gentleman's agreement in writing? Well, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, does it? In this day and age, it absolutely does not matter if it's a gentleman's agreement. And you can forget your gentleman's agreement, because what about the fans? The fans! The lifeblood of the sport. The disrespect he is showing to the Newcastle fans is an absolute disgrace. And the fact that Liverpool fans are offended that other people think it's a disgrace, I mean, considering the whole Trent situation, is also a disgrace. I really think it's a shambles. Ultimately, as well, Liverpool, they've got decent business done. I think you look at Wirtz, though, the price that they've had to pay. It's an ugly amount of money, considering 2 games in, and he's very, very much flattered to deceive. It's been an underwhelming start to his Liverpool career. I think that could change, in all honesty. I think there's a genuine talent there. But the price that Liverpool have had to pay for Wirtz comes with pressure. Yet, we're all talking about the exciting Liverpool signings, but they had Szoboszlai at right back against Newcastle. So how prepared are they for this transfer window to be finished? Because, I mean, that's not ideal, in all honesty. I think Liverpool can count themselves lucky to consider themselves to have 6 points in this season, because they were absolutely way below par against Newcastle and got away with it in the first home game of the season at home to Bournemouth as well. So they are not the only ones as well. United, I mean, they've got Sesko. Completely forgotten about Gyökeres and Delap as well. There's so many high-profile names that are linked with Manchester United. 5%, if that, of the links are true. 0.1, and then of that 5%, how many of those actually signed for the club? You know, they were being linked with Calvert-Lewin at one point. It's like an absolute joke. I think they can be happy with Sesko. But the shambles of departures as well. You got Garnacho, Højlund, Sancho, Anthony. It's a mess. It's a complete mess as well. The goalkeeping situation at United. Bayındır flapping at everything. Onana was a disaster last season. They haven't rectified that situation. They are still stuck with those 2 goalkeepers. And then, of course, Newcastle is probably the biggest disaster of the whole transfer window. You could probably field a new starting 11 with failed transfers for Newcastle. I feel for them. I feel for the fans. I feel for the fact that PSR is doing what it's doing and preventing a club from growing, breaking in to the established, sitting at the big table. I would be annoyed if I was a Newcastle fan, very much so. But you look at Ekitike and what he's done to them directly now in a Liverpool shirt. I mean, they've missed out on that. Obviously, they've got the Isak situation as well. But Mbeumo was linked, Cunha was linked, Visser has been linked. There's been so many others. Manchester City's James Trafford was, of course, on his way to the football club. It's been a very, very disappointing transfer window for Newcastle as well. And one of the shining hopes going into the season was they've still got the likes of Anthony Gordon. Galanga's a good signing, but going in with Anthony Gordon, and then he's out for 3 games for being a complete moron and wiping out Van Dijk. It's crazy what's going on. And now, Strand Larsen, bids are being rejected for Strand Larsen. That's such a massive downgrade on all of the targets that they've been linked with, and they're now being linked with Strand Larsen, and they can't even get that deal done because they can't even negotiate with Wolves, who are a selling club this transfer market as well, which is a problem for Wolves fans, of course, because they've got situations to be worried about as well. But don't forget, my club got off to a great start, brilliant start. Reinders, Ryan Aït-Nouri, Ryan Cherki. I'm thinking, yes, we are onto a winner. And then kaboom, it was just like, wait a minute, Ederson wants to leave. And I was like, some City fans were okay with that. Me personally, I wasn't okay with that. And following the Spurs game, you can see why I wasn't okay with that. Because we have a certain style of play that suits a certain type of goalkeeper that is a rare breed, in all honesty. That's a rare breed of goalkeeper we're talking about. And bringing in Donnarumma, while in terms of goalkeeping stature and shot-stopping ability, I'm excited. I'm still not 100% convinced he suits Manchester City. I'm hoping Pep has a trick up his sleeve, and I have a feeling that he does. But then, of course, you got Savinho. He wanted to leave as well, bringing in Rodrigo. If City come away with the situation where they get the deal done and Savinho leaves and Rodrigo comes in, I think City fans will be happy with that situation, in all honesty. I think some still want Savinho. Donnarumma as well, coming in, equally happy. And I think at that point, great. But we are still in a mess right now at the point of making this video. There's 5 days to go and none of this seems close to being sorted. So of course Manchester City are in a mess right now because you've got a Kanji who doesn't want to leave and he's apparently being shown the door a little bit. Not kicked out of it, but he's been, there's the door, mate, do you want to walk through it? Obviously Grealish did what he did for Manchester City. I thought he had a great treble season. He left on loan to Everton, then goes and bags himself 2 assists. Very frustrating to watch that as a Manchester City fan. I can't lie. It was a very frustrating situation. Then, of course, you got Chelsea. Julio Enciso, failed bloody medical. What's going on there? When's the last time you saw a medical get failed? Never known anything like it. It's absolutely barn pot lunacy in this transfer window. And the fumbling with Xavi Simons, and they're going into this season and saying, yeah, Robert Sanchez in between our sticks. He'll win us a Premier League title. No, he won't. He's a flapper as well. He's a joke of a goalkeeper. He makes so many high-profile mistakes that he is going to cost Chelsea points this season. No two ways about it. Failing to address that is a failure in the transfer market. So many clubs have been doing this. And then, of course, you've got Spurs. The most high-profile, embarrassing situation was the Eberechi Eze one. I mean, that was awful, man. It was almost guaranteed certainty, according to all the in-the-knows out there, that he is on his way to Spurs. Can't wait. Can't wait, the Spurs fans, waxing lyrical about Eberechi Eze. Then almost out of nowhere, boom, here we go. Eberechi Eze to their arch rivals, Arsenal. I mean, I had a moment of sympathy for them, but ultimately, as a connoisseur of the comedy, I found that rather humorous. In all honesty, pretty humorous. Then, of course, you've got Gibbs White. Have you ever known an owner to hold their player ransom? Gibbs White, you're not going anywhere, mate. Your release clause, you've triggered it. No, mate, not happening this transfer window because this is this transfer window. This is off the charts transfer window. This ain't happening. No way. Gibbs White, you're staying, mate. And there's so many other players as well. Mbeumo, Visser, Kolo Muane, Leroy Sané, all linked with Spurs. I actually think they've done all right. What they showed against City was more than okay, in all honesty. That midfield was very strong, very powerful. They've got talent up front. Richarlison, you could call it the Richarlison-naissance. He's a rejuvenated player, so there's a little bit of a win there. But Savinho, with City involved, they've got to get that deal done. And that would probably become a bit of a win for Spurs, in all honesty. But there are so many other areas. Bournemouth, for example, they've lost a core component to their defence in Milos Kerkez and Dean Howson. Have they replaced them with the quality that's necessary to replace the likes of those two players? Probably not. Fulham, what are they doing? Bugger all. Absolutely nothing. Wolves, they're just selling everybody and replacing them with nomads and maybes, possibilities as well. There's Sunderland, I think they could probably consider themselves pretty happy with what's gone on in this transfer window as well, but considering where they finished 4th in the Championship last season with, 20 plus points behind the likes of Leeds and Burnley. They were way off it, so they very much went into this season before the transfer window with a Championship squad. They have added Granit Xhaka and Adingra and players like that have got Premier League experience that I think, considering what the baseline was for expectancy at Sunderland, they've gone up a notch in their quality in terms of squad, so they can consider themselves happy. Everyone was saying they're going to stay safe after the first game, then the next game they lose to Burnley. So how good actually was it for Sunderland? Interesting. Do you know what annoys me more than anything and pains me to say it? I think Arsenal are the most settled in all of this situation. And it pains me to say it because I don't see a situation, I don't see a saga at Arsenal. I don't see a problem. I don't see players wanting to leave. I don't see failure to sign the players that they need. They needed a striker. They need backup in defensive midfield. Quality player in defensive midfield to replace the likes of Thomas Partey and unleash the likes of Declan Rice. Zubimendi absolutely does that. They needed a goal scorer, and finding the back of the net twice at the weekend, Arsenal fans can probably consider Gyökeres he's found his feet. You know, he's already finding the back of the net in an Arsenal shirt. So it's a good start to his career. Scoring on your home debut like that in the Premier League, it's got to be a win for Arsenal. Bringing in Eberechi Eze at the peril of Spurs fans, from a comedic point of view, they get a win. But as a player, Eberechi Eze has gone up a level, very much. And they're signing players that are in their peak as well. Gyökeres, people were saying the age, because everyone thinks you must sign 21-year-olds nowadays. You must sign 22-year-olds. Signing 27-year-olds and 28-year-olds is like, yes, ready-made, finished article, ready to go. That's what they've got. They've signed Gyökeres. He's ready right now. There's no excuses. Other than that, there's no excuses than maybe an injury might pop up in his career. Eberechi Eze is exactly the same. I think they've got the best back four in the Premier League, with a goalkeeper who somehow, I'm not that impressed by him, but he pulls off these worldy saves every now and again. I think he's a bit ropey here and there. I think his crossing ability in terms of dealing with them is very, very good. Occasional lapse in concentration, but I think ultimately that seems to be the most settled transfer window. And it's bloody Arsenal. And everyone was laughing at them. The failure will be Mikel Arteta for them. I think that is where it comes into question in the latter half of the season, the second half of the season up here. Do they believe they can go and win that Premier League title? Whereas everyone else, I can consider massive failures in almost every single football club, which has led to one of the messiest, ugliest, most entertaining transfer windows we've ever seen. Let me know your thoughts on this one. I really want to hear them. Make sure you like and subscribe to Transfer News Live. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.